Hey everyone, hello. So today we're stepping into a topic that feels ancient, mysterious, and deeply personal. We're talking about generational curses. The phrase itself sounds like something from a dusty old scroll, yet for many people, these curses are painfully real. Patterns that repeat in families like a stubborn echo: addiction, abuse, poverty, trauma, abandonment, fear, self sabotage. And the quiet question behind it all: why does this keep happening to us? Traditionally, a generational curse is described as a negative pattern, a kind of spiritual inheritance that passes from one generation to the next. In many religious or spiritual traditions, this can evolve reoccurring addiction, patterns of abuse, persistent poverty, cycles of unhealthy relationships, anger, fear, or destructive behaviors, or even unexplained misfortune. Some see these as spiritual forces, a kind of inevitable or invisible, rather, knot tied around a family line. Others view them symbolically or psychologically. But whether you believe in spiritual oppression, ancestral energy, or simply the power of family patterns, the result is the same. What one generation doesn't heal can spill into the next. Across cultures, the idea of inherited spiritual burdens appears again and again. In some religious traditions, it's described as the sins of the father, ancestral iniquity, familial spirits, energetic imprints, or even karmic residue. These beliefs suggest that trauma, unhealed wounds, or harmful choices open spiritual doorways that remain active until addressed. People who hold this view often turn to things like prayer, spiritual deliverance, ancestral healing rituals, meditation and intention settings, as well as confession, forgiveness, or cord cutting practices. Here, the curse is not fate, it's invitation to healing and spiritual renewal. Not all cycles need to be supernatural to be explained. Psychology shines a sobering but hopeful light on the topic. We learn how to navigate the world by watching the people who raise us. If a child grows up around anger, addiction, silence, or scarcity, their brain encodes these as the normal settings of life. And so, abusers become familiar, dysfunction becomes comfortable, poverty becomes expected, and fear becomes default. These patterns aren't curses, they're learned scripts. And unless someone consciously rewrites them, the script plays again and again. But here's the empowering part. Once you recognize the script, you can finally put down the pen and writing you can finally put down the pen and write a new ending. Now, let's step into the laboratory where white coats, microscopes, and genetic blueprints are. Genetics, one of the most fascinating fields in modern science, has revealed something that once sounded like folklore. Trauma can echo through generations. Researchers have found that severe stress, war, famine, abuse, displacement, and deep emotional trauma can leave chemical markers on a person's DNA. And those markers can be passed down to children and grandchildren. This doesn't change the DNA sequence itself. It changes how genes express themselves, especially genes linked to stress, anxiety, depression, emotional regulation, and immune response. Children can be born carrying these stress markers from trauma they never personally even experienced. A scientific parallel to the ancient concept of generational curses. Yes, absolutely. But here's the miracle woven through all of this. Epigenetic markers can also be reversed. Healing changes DNA too. So things like meditation, therapy, emotional safety, spiritual practices, and supportive relationships can literally switch stress markers off. So yes, it is in a very real sense, healing yourself heals your lineage. Here are some questions people often ask themselves. Why does addiction show up in every generation of my family? Why do we self-sabotage or sabotage relationships the same way? And why is anger our family's first language? Or why does poverty feel like a shadow that follows us? Or why do we attract the same type of harmful patterns? And also, why does anxiety feel inherited? Patterns become visible when you zoom out. Sometimes the signs are emotional, spiritual, or behavioral. Sometimes they're woven into the family stories people don't talk about. The important thing is patterns reveal themselves because they want to be healed. So the short answer, yes. The long answer, breaking a generational cycle is one of the most powerful acts a human being can perform. It's like turning to face the storm that your ancestors ran from. There are several pathways. For one, personal choice. The moment you say, "This ends with me," the curse loses oxygen. Number two, therapy and counseling. Healing the brain heals the family tree. Number three, spiritual practices. Prayer, meditation, forgiveness, ancestral healing, deliverance, or energy clearing. Whatever aligns with your personal belief system. And number four, breaking silence. Naming what happened dissolves shame. Number five would be creating new environments. A new pattern, it needs new soil. Number six, community support. Cycles often break faster when we're not alone. And number seven, inner child work. Many curses are simply wounded children who never got closure. And then last would be number 8, which is generational gratitude. So honoring the strengths of your ancestors, not just their wounds, creates balance. Let's take a breath together. You are not the sum of your ancestors' wounds. You are the turning point they prayed for, wept for, hoped for, and couldn't imagine. You carry resilience. You carry survival and their brilliance. And the very fact that you're examining generational patterns means the cycle is already cracking open. Healing is the inheritance you create for those who come after you. Generational curses, whether spiritual, psychological, or biological, are not destiny. They are stories waiting for revision, patterns waiting for interruption, and wounds waiting for someone brave enough to touch them with compassion. And if you're listening to this, maybe that's you. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Thank you for joining me on this spiritual journey. So until next time, take care of your lineage by taking care of yourself. All right, everyone. Peace.